All right, welcome to Should I Move There? Today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of living in Clinton, New Jersey, talking specifically about New Jersey with our guest today, Nick Ricco. Nick, thank you so much for being here on the channel.
Absolutely, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Awesome. So, how long have you been in the New Jersey area for?
So I am 41 years old. I was born in Florida, but within, I think, 18 months of living in Florida, my parents relocated and moved to New Jersey, and I've been in New Jersey ever since.
So you're a transplant, but you're pretty much like a native now.
Yeah, I am, and I can't even say I was a transplant because my parents grew up in the area that I live in now. So as much as they went down to Florida, that was a brief stint for them as well.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Great. Well, let's talk about New Jersey. So right now it's currently the summer. I know most of the country's going through a heat wave at the moment. You guys are kind of in the same boat.
We are. Yeah, it's funny. I was actually away on vacation last week in St. Martin in the Caribbean, and I came back to New Jersey for it to be hotter in New Jersey than it was in St. Martin. So I'm actually, and it's still the same. It was 100 degrees yesterday. I'm thinking of flying back down to St. Martin just to get some cool air.
Oh, that's funny. What? So when you go fly internationally, like how does that look for you? Living in Clinton, New Jersey.
Yeah, so just to kind of orient you, Clinton is kind of, if you drew a line between Manhattan and Philadelphia, Clinton would be right in the middle of that line, a little north. So we have so many options for flying, most of which we do is flying out of Newark, New Jersey, which is about 45 minutes away. But we have Philadelphia options. You got all the major New York airports as well. For the most part, though, it's flying out of Newark.
Nice. And do you take like the train to the airport, or do you drive, or do you get a ride?
We drive, or we get a ride for the family. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Excellent. And how long was that flight for to St. Francis? You said.
It's St. Martin down in the Caribbean. It was just over 4 hours. And that one we flew out of JFK out of New York.
Nice. I've been to JFK one time, but nothing significant.
Yeah, JFK is, I think it's like, I don't know, I want to say 45 miles away, but that's like a 2-hour trip to get there. Whereas Newark is, like I said, 45 minutes. It's a production to get to JFK from here.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Excellent. Well, tell us about a little bit more like about different areas within Clinton itself and just in the surrounding New Jersey area.
Yeah, so Clinton is in Hunterdon County, and I know New Jersey can have a bad rap at times. People fly into, talking about airports, fly into Newark, and you have oil refineries and industrial everywhere. Where I live in Clinton and Hunterdon County, most people when they come here don't even realize that this is part of New Jersey. It's farms, it's horse pastures, it's beautiful lakes, beautiful reservoirs. Old historic towns. Clinton is one of the oldest towns around, surrounded by the town of Lambertville. New Hope, Pennsylvania is close. All kind of historic, quaint little towns. And the town of Flemington is also one of those as well, one of the older towns in this area. So it's really older, quaint, small, kind of, you would think it was more of a Midwestern area of where we live here.
Oh, interesting. Awesome. So you said there's more like opened land type of thing, so like more everyone's not like on top of each other kind of thing, living space wise.
Correct. Yeah, it's all spread out farmland. I mean, it continues to get developed. I grew up about 10 minutes from where I live with my family now. I grew up in a town called Califon, and it's slowly getting more developed, but there is more farmland and pastures than there are developments here.
Got it. So in terms of like I guess like housing, different types of like places you can live in or purchase, is it mostly just single family homes?
You have it, it's across the spectrum, right? You'll have, there's a lot of condos, a lot of townhouses, a lot of single family home developments. You'll see, like, we don't have apartment complexes. We have a couple of them, but they're on a much smaller scale. I think that one of the larger ones down in Flemington is probably 60 to 80 units. In Clinton, I don't know that there's an apartment complex that has more than 20 units in it. So for the most part, it's either condo living or single family homes.
Got it. And just from like looking on the map, I see you guys are next to two different like reservoirs or lakes.
Yes.
How are those? Like, do people go there and visit, or do they like walk around, or?
Very
What's
much so. Yeah. I mean, I'll go for some of my runs on the northern one there, Spruce Run Reservoir. Um, Round Valley Reservoir is the other one that you see. That you'll a lot of hiking, a lot of fishing. We also get a tremendous amount of traffic from people further east um, that want to come and get a day out of the city or more urban areas and go hang out at the reservoir and get some fresh water.
That's so cool. Have you caught any fish there, or what kind of fish are there? Like you guys catch?
Lake trout, bass. I haven't been. My dad used to take me again. Like I said, I grew up 10 minutes from here. My dad used to take me on a little boat. We would go camping and fishing there back. God, going back 30 years now. I have. I think I took my son and daughter once or twice, and I think I failed miserably on catching anything there.
That's all right. That's a part. That's a part of fishing though, because you never know if you're gonna catch something or not. It's not
It's
guaranteed,
true.
and that's
That's
life.
it.
That's life. Um,
Very true. Very true.
so what are some other things in the area to do?
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of these small towns have hopped on the microbrewery ban. There's every single town. I think there's Flemington has 2 microbreweries. Reddington's got one. Highbridge has one. Clinton doesn't have one yet. There is one just outside of Clinton, but a lot of breweries. Like I said, a lot of just the old town to just go walk a main street and you have little shops selling all different random things. Nice little restaurants. Again, you're in the country, so there's a lot of hiking, a lot of biking, just a lot of outdoor activities, kayaking. You'll see there's a river close to my house that on any given day in the summer you'll see people tubing down it.
Hmm. Nice. That's
Yeah,
cool.
just a lot about people that live around here are usually spending their time outdoors.
Just nice. That's as yeah, it's good for you. So
Definitely.
what are winters like in your area?
But can be pretty tough. Yeah, because it's hilly out here too. So it's funny that the main corridor through the county is Route 78 that takes you basically is the commuter line into Manhattan from here, and you have parts of it that have pretty significant elevation off, like going into the town of city of Tewksbury. It's not a city, but town of Tewksbury, I should say. Has a higher mountain. You could be driving down 78 and it's just cold and it could be snowing up on that hill there. But the mountain, the winters can be pretty tough with heavy snowfall and rough winters with going up and down hills.
Got it. In I guess like in the town, is there anything like interesting that goes on like that's just like specifically for your town that's kind of like localized?
Yeah, the town is big and specific to Clinton. There are numerous town events, whether it's again, it's kind of old world. They do a rubber ducky race in the river that cuts right through the town. There is like fall festivals where they shut down the street, haunted mansion through one of the older buildings, and Halloween. A great Christmas parade in early December where the town shuts down, and on a Friday night you have a huge parade of different characters followed by Santa at the end of it. Again, it's kind of like you step back in time to It's a Wonderful Life in the town of Clinton around the holidays.
That's amazing. Tell us about the rubber ducky race. What is that?
But believe it or not, I actually have never participated or been there, but there are hundreds of rubber duckies, and I think the kids and families can go and you can. I don't know if they write their name on the rubber ducky, but there's a famous waterfall in the town, and the Red Mill, which is one of the I was told it is the most photographed mill in the whole country. It's a red mill, and there's a waterfall that goes right through the center of town. So they load up the top of the waterfall with all these rubber duckies and send them out, and somebody wins. But again, shame on me. I've been here my whole life. I've never personally seen it.
Okay, and well, you'll have to get some footage for us, and people can reach out. Or you can post it, and people can kind of see that.
I will do. Although I will tell you, I do dress up on a character in the Christmas parade.
Oh,
So,
are you really?
yeah, I'm not as pathetic as it's coming out. Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. What character do you dress up as?
This past year, I was the Christmas mouse.
Christmas mouse. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Is it and it's just like it's a parade that kind of happens
Yeah, they
um
shut the street down. Again, it's like it's after hours, about 7 o'clock. The kids get so excited they line the street. You have little vendors selling hot dogs and popcorn, and then fire trucks, old cars, all kinds of stuff go down. And then again, people like me dressing up to keep the kids entertained, walking up
yeah,
and down the main street.
that's so cool. I love that. That is kind of like the old days, or like this what the movie said, It's a Wonderful Life.
It is. I mean, honestly, and actually, "It's a Wonderful Life" was based off of a town close by, the town of Califon that I grew up in. There is an old white bridge where, if you Google that's where, I forget who, what's his name, Frank Capra, I believe, decided to write the story.
Okay. Interesting.
Which is
Interesting.
why I reference it too, because it really is. I mean, you take a page out of there and it looks exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk about a little bit in terms of living there. So like cost of living for different style houses, just kind of a spectrum, if you can kind of break it down for us.
Yeah, I think the average sale price for a home in this area is in the mid 500s. Um, and obviously this has changed, right, over the past 2.5 years. You could get a 2-bedroom condo in the 250 range. Your 3-bedroom ranch is going to go for somewhere around like the four to 500s, and then your traditional center hall colonial, built in the 90s 2000s, that could be anywhere from 600 to a million.
Got it.
Which
Got
is
it.
seen, again, I go back to the past 2 years, this area hadn't seen much appreciation since the Great Recession in 2007, 2008. The past 2 years have really, just like most of the country, have benefited this area with a lot of appreciation.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. Okay. So yeah, you have like a good spectrum, good range, in terms of like the different types of in terms of affordability, I should say. Um, for I guess here's the question I've always wondered, like in the town, is there like a certain side that's like, hey, that side's way more expensive, and then you like cross over just like, just a little bit this way, and then it's like the house.
There's not, and
uh,
the reason that there's not is this is a very, very small town, right? So the
mm,
town of Clinton, and I don't have the population numbers, but it's a tiny town. I mean, I don't know that it's more than a mile from one end to the other, with the main street being probably a quarter mile long at most. So it doesn't really allow itself for different parts of town, right? The other confusing thing is, so that's the town of Clinton. I live in Clinton Township, which surrounds the town of Clinton, but technically are two separate towns. The town of Clinton being more of that Main Street area, whereas Clinton Township is more of the surrounding suburban area of it, where you have the horse farms and a couple of developments cutting through there.
got it, noted. So I guess I'm still curious for the town, like is the this is where editing comes in. I'm like what am I thinking? No, no, just
It's
kidding.
there for all good.
No, I'm wondering like for what are things, some things like when someone comes into town and they're like just a little bit surprised, they're like, oh, like um how are they, what's the typical response, I guess, when somebody's visiting?
It's a lot of what we just talked about, where it really, I mean, if you live in North Jersey, right, which the bordering towns of Manhattan that are only an hour from here, if you had spent your whole life there and then drove out here, you would think you were in two different states. Honestly, it's as if you drove into the rural parts of Pennsylvania or Kentucky, right? So people are always surprised by that, and that old town feel. In fact, again, one of the byproducts of the past 2 years with the pandemic, where you had that exodus that everyone read about of the cities, specifically Manhattan. We saw a lot of people from Manhattan and even Eastern New Jersey, Newark, some of those areas, wanting to get more space because no one knew how long that was going to go on for. And rather than, live in more of an urban area, you come out here and you could have 2 or 3 acres of property and not see your neighbor. So people are always surprised that you can get that's part of New Jersey, right? That you can still find horse farms and cow farms, and just space, for lack of a better term, and still be in New Jersey. That surprises people all the time. And again, even people that have been in New Jersey their whole life, just in different parts.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, let's talk about the local economy and the schools in the town of Clinton. How does that look for? Oh, sorry. Let's just do local economy. Let's talk about the local economy in the Clinton area. How does that look?
Uh, more specifics than just the general economy.
Yeah, so I guess I'm wondering, like, maybe some cities have maybe a certain industry that kind of dominates the area, or maybe even just a certain employer that dominates the area, or is it just like a mix of kind of things? Or
Yeah, it's definitely a mix. So New Jersey is pretty heavy, and this isn't specific to Clinton, but I'll tell you why I'm bringing it up in a second. Very heavy in the pharmaceutical arena, um, as well as technology in northern New Jersey. So when it comes to the town of Clinton, there's not necessarily a big player, although Exxon does have a pretty big presence here. I believe it's mainly engineers that work out of there. But what you'll see is a lot of people that live in Clinton are commuting out of Clinton to go work in Manhattan, working in pharmaceuticals, or different technology sectors. So the economy is very, very strong here, but that's because of the surrounding areas and the ability to take advantage of a commute trip into New York. Most people will drive it, but we also have there's a train out of Highbridge and Annandale. So you have that option as well. And we do have a bus line into Manhattan as well. So a lot of the people that live here will take advantage of the jobs out of New York City while enjoying, suburban life.
hmm.
And then you have your small business owners, right? Again, with a small town comes the small town economy too, right? Where you have the local shop owner, again, stepping back in time, the local dry cleaner that knows you by name. So you do have that component as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know a lot of jobs are hybrid now, so like people can live in Clinton and then, go into the quote unquote big city to work, those 2-3 days out of the week that they have to be there in person. So
Correct. And that's why we haven't seen a lot. There was a lot of real estate transactions of people that, like we talked about before, left Manhattan or left the more urban areas closer to the city. A lot of those people, the question was, are they going to have to sell their house now and go back? No, because they can, even if they have to go in the office 2 or 3 days, you're talking about an hour commute, maybe an hour and 20 minutes. It's doable for a couple of days a week.
yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, but not every day is kind of a that'll come on you. But
Yeah, you got to question your time, right? That's a lot of hours a week sitting on a bus or on a train.
Yeah, but for the people that do that every single day, you guys truly are the heroes. It's brave. It takes a lot of.
Absolutely, you got to do for your family. You got to do so.
Yep.
Much respect.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's go into the schools. So schools in the Clinton area and this like the surrounding area. So you have kids. Where do you how does that look, the schools in the area?
Yeah, so the people move to this town in this area specifically for the schools. Our schools are some of the best in the state. Teachers, some of the highest paid as well. So when I hear somebody ask the question on schools, especially if I'm, selling it, you're working with a new client and they ask it, I get all excited because it's a great conversation to have. From all the way from the elementary to the middle school to the high schools. Phenomenal schools. There's other options as well. As great as the schools are, my wife and I choose to send our kids to a Catholic school, so which is local. It's in the town. It's actually in Clinton Township. Going back to what we talked about before, it's not in the town of Clinton, but right outside. And it's a phenomenal Catholic school. So you have, as much as the schools are fantastic, you do have other options as well.
Excellent. That's so interesting. I always wonder, like, why are some areas they have great schools and some areas they don't? Like, there's a rhyme or reason. I don't know. I have no idea, but that's amazing to hear that the schools are good in the area. That's always
and you would hope that it's a great question, right? A rhetorical question, because you would hope that every area does, but that's the truth. And I will tell you that I do work with people that are looking to move into the area, right? Maybe they had a kid that's 3 or 4 years old and they're getting ready to get into school, and they'll move into this area specifically for the school district.
Super interesting. All right, that is well noted. We'll have to put that in the notes.
Definitely.
The schools are okay, because California is a lot different. It's just completely different culture, and I think we're like 49th in education, but for public school I should say. But
okay.
But I digress.
That's it, definitely.
For living in Clinton, what are some things that you don't like about the area?
don't like. Got me on that one, Brian. Don't I like? So I guess I do know the answer to that, because with the quaintness and the small town comes a lack of diversity with restaurants and outdoor and entertainment type stuff, right? So we have a limited amount of restaurants in the town and the surrounding towns. Especially liquor licenses. The way New Jersey operates, there's only X amount of liquor licenses that are allowed to be given out per town. So you could count on one hand how many places there are that you could go and that actually have a liquor license in a restaurant in the town. So sometimes that can be a challenge when you want to go and try something different. Our favorite sushi place, we got to drive about 30 minutes to go get our favorite sushi place. Now that there's sushi options here, but again, you don't have a lot of diversity as it comes to different choices with some of those specific restaurants.
So the good sushi, you have to drive for it, I should say.
Yeah, for at least my opinion. I don't want to knock on
Yeah,
anyone's business here.
of
Yeah.
course, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, in your personal opinion, yes,
Mhm.
of course. Yeah.
But that is, that I mean, that's a reality, right? Like on a Friday night, it's like, my wife and Allie will say, all right, where are we going to dinner? So, well, it's this one, or this one. So a little more variety would be nice.
Got it. That makes sense. And I think pros and cons that comes with, being able to be somewhere where people know you by name, even, or they know, like you're mentioning the dry cleaner, they know you by name. So that's highly unusual in I would say the majority of the country. So
Definitely.
that's people. Well, one, that means people are friendly, and then two, that their town is small enough where they're gonna know if you come to the business, like, oh hey, like I've never seen you before. So
yeah, very much. I mean, even the deli, right? I just got my lunch, and you walk in and it's Nick. What are you having today?
oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it does. There is something very very special about that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. For I guess for like the rest of the Clinton area, is there anything I didn't ask you that is like maybe you wanted to talk about or mention?
No, I think on the pro side, and I meant to look up where this came from, but Hunterdon County, not specific to Clinton, but Hunterdon County, I think it was last year, and this has been on a repeating basis, was named the safest county in the entire country. So if you look at the pros, I mean, and talk about raising a family, whether you're talking Clinton or the county in general, as beautiful as it is, and all the different options or outdoor activities, it's nice to know that you're in this one of the safest counties in the entire country, which is pretty rewarding and I will say prideful. When that came out, there are people that talk about that.
Yeah, that is something to be proud about. Absolutely. So it seems like it's a good place to raise kids. Like, is that why people kind of
No question. Again, whether you're talking the safety, whether you're talking the schools, whether you're talking about a small town America, talking about outdoor activities, people will move here to raise their family, right? I mean, I can let my kids go for a bike ride without any worry of what's going on outside.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, because in California, you have to be really, you're like constantly on guard. It's really weird. Or just
Sure.
being careful. Everyone's super, super careful and very conscious of all that. So
And even the outdoor activities, right? I mean, a lot of the trails, you could be there could be one family that's walking down the trail. There's another family that's biking behind. On the river next to you, there's a group of people going down on tubes, and then you got to move over because you have 3 people riding their horses down the center of the trail. So, I mean, it really is a special place.
nice, excellent, so cool. Well, Nick, this has been really awesome to talk about Clinton. I really appreciate it. We're gonna have your information up top and down below, and people can reach out to you if they have any additional questions about what it's like to live in the Clinton area. So
Awesome. Well, Brian, I appreciate the time. Thanks for having me on.
absolutely.